Let's get to it.
I'm laying in bed Friday night, and I say, oh, man, I forgot Coach Prime was on Friday night. I forgot that it was the Friday night Colorado game. I'm like, damn.
Bull junk. No bull junk.
I'm thinking first, bull junk that I forgot. And then I'm like, oh, what was the point spread? Like 12? 29-0 at halftime? I'm mad at myself. I probably would have put like $50 on Colorado just to watch it on a Friday. Thank God I didn't. What the hell happened? I went to sleep tuning out that game being like, oh, okay, Colorado, easy win, 29-0. They lost in overtime?
Yeah.
Embarrassing. Coach Prime trying to decide if these guys even want it.
Well, he was trying to decipher, and he said to his team, one of the highlights, I guess, or sound bites of the night was he wants to know from his team, are they in like with the sport or are they in love with the sport? Do they just like it or love it? You got to love what you do. And he wants his passion levels to be met. And I got to tell you, forget about football, just in life. You know, working here, sometimes I feel like sometimes some people's passion level isn't the same as mine. Not you, Rich.
Thank you.
But that's a deflating feeling. It could be in your relationship. You're like, why am I all invested and you're not?
Do you love it or like it? It's like the flavors at Cold Stone Creamery. Do you like it, love it, or got to have it?
Right.
I got to have it.
So that's what he was saying to his team. You got to imagine how frustrated he is because here he is putting his heart out there, his name out there as a coach and as a leader, and he's sitting there wondering, do these kids even want it? Because I feel like I want it. Yeah, I want it more than they do. That's not a good feeling.
The camera caught a couple of the kids talking back to Coach Prime, and I was like, uh-oh. Are the wheels going to fall off?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, hey, Coach Prime suffered another L. I mean, the team. It's not just him. But because they were 1-11 last year, he does have continued wiggle room because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still an improvement no matter what.
So, observation number one, Coach Prime, I think, tricked a lot of us, especially on the East Coast, people that went to sleep early. They were probably like, yo, 29-0 halftime? All right, W. You woke up and you're like, what happened?
Yeah, that's bad.
All right.
That is embarrassing.
Second college note, and then we'll get straight to the NFL. Just when I was like, ooh, let's see Caleb Williams versus a really good defense in Notre Dame. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what this kid's all about. Really made sure I was focused in on this game. Guy probably had his worst game ever in his college career.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, throwing picks, ill-advised. Like, he did not look good. And then you're like, oh, what does that do for him moving forward?
Well, the hype is hard to live up to sometimes.
Everyone's going to have a bad game.
That's true, too.
His bad game came against another top 10 team, and it made him – it made people say, huh.
Did you say,
Made me say,
And your thoughts and your feedback, 877-99 on Fox. Let's go. Things that made you go,
Let's go, baby! Things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
Any of your observations from Week 6 this weekend? What were your takeaways? Rich and I go over our top three. Danny G has a bunch of observations. Let's get to yours, too. Again, at Covino and Rich on social media, at Fox Sports Radio, 877-99 on Fox. Rich, I mean, it was a weekend of surprises for sure.
Yeah, it was a weekend of we've made the sentiment and we made the rule. You could really assess things after Week 6. I feel like I want another week.
I know.
I was like, damn it! Just when I was like, all right, we got our gauge on these teams, I was like, wait, hold up, what? But
again, every great team, every Super Bowl champion stumbles a little bit throughout the regular season. So
I mean, I said to you guys last night, I said, of course I'm mad about the Niners' loss as a Niners fan, mostly because I'm not going to get mad about the terrible officiating, right? That happens in every game. Every fan could complain about, like, oh, bad call, game-changing call. But it was a game. It was a 3rd and 10 drop pass, so would have been 4th and 10. Instead, like a real ticky-tacky, soft, personal foul that just keeps the game rolling for the Browns. So then they miss a chip shot. I get the Niners did not deserve to win that game. They had opportunities, right?
But they had a chance. That's all you could ask from your quarterback, missing key players on the team. I think if you put your team in position to win the game, that's all you could do.
Yeah, and, we said it all week. Is it a trap game? And I was like, nope, until they prove me wrong, I'm going heavy. I'm just fascinated that the 4 games that I called potential blowouts, I called 4 games these are potential blowouts. And I know that I'm not alone. Look at the Vegas numbers. Look at everyone else on the network, Fox, ESPN. We were trying to decide, all right, who's going to take the worst ass whooping? Who's going to take the worst beatdown? And 3 of those 4 games, 2 of them resulted the other way, and 1 of them was a 1-yard bad call away. We'll start with Miami. They were the one team that did what they were supposed to do.
At the beginning of that game, though,
14-0.
That was the one that looked like, this is not going to be a Dolphins blowing out the other team's situation as we thought. But then the Dolphins just poured it on in the second half.
Yeah, Carolina
42-21. But again, Tua just doing so much for that team, pulling out all his tricks, 262 yards, 3 tutties, just looking solid, dude.
So you looked at that game and you're like, all right, there's the one.
Again, after the first quarter.
They won by 20-something. What we thought. The Niners looked like trash. They couldn't get the job done. They after McCaffrey and Debo got a little banged up, Trent Williams even rolled his ankle.
Did you see Kittle's undershirt this week or no?
What did it say?
It said, we lost to the Browns.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
I'm holding it up right now.
Please send me that. I want to put that on our Instagram story. I haven't seen that. No.
Oh, that's so great, man. The internet always wins. I'll tell you. It's amazing how funny people are with memes and how funny social media is, because I saw that. I laughed out loud.
But you know what? I want to just categorize 3 games together. Now, Buffalo, let's get that out the way. They were 1 yard away and some really bad clock management by the Giants. I mean, going into halftime, I've never seen worse clock management in a long time in the National Football League. I mean, like, Dable left them no time. I'm like, you ever see a team sit on timeouts and you're like, are they thinking something different than I am?
Mm-hmm.
They have multiple timeouts, and here they are letting them 22 seconds, 21. What are they doing? Terrible. They come away with nothing at the half, and you're like, that's going to come back and get them. It did, but they got that pass interference call at the end. They didn't get the second one. The Giants almost beat the Bills.
Lost the game in the fourth quarter and still had a chance to win it in the end.
So while they did win, I was wrong about that one. I thought that was going to be, I was like, are you kidding me? The Bills against the Giants? The Eagles and the Niners both losing. The Eagles losing made me feel a little better because I'm like, all right, everyone's been defeated now. I felt a little better about that. But what it does is it makes you realize that
you forgot the Bills got away with a missed call, though, at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That really was a missed call.
Losing is part of football. There's been plenty of teams that when they were 16 games won the Super Bowl at 10-6, 11-5. You know, the best teams are 13-4, 14-3, 12-5. The best teams lose. This isn't college football where the best team has 0 losses or maybe 1. You'll lose a handful of games in the National Football League, even if you're the best.
No matter what you say, too. I mean, it happens. But it's subconsciously taking your opponents lightly. I think there's something to be said about that. Because you think you got it, but you don't, because it's still the NFL.
That's the reminder, right? The reminder is like, any given Sunday. But it's true because you saw it on display yesterday. If you would have told me that, I mean, I know their defense is good, but
dude, why do you think
Jalen Hurts, Zach Wilson?
Why do you think Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz? Because in the back of his mind, he's like, I got this no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
And a lot of these teams, come to the game feeling that same way.
You're on the road. You might be looking past the game on your schedule.
A little bit.
You might say, we'll get past this. Because they even said, like, this will be a dirty, slow game. It's a little muddy, a little rainy. Cleveland's got a good defense. Let's just, let's tough this one out. And they couldn't.
But it goes to show you how good even the bad teams are or could be.
I mean, the Browns aren't bad. It's just you thought the Niners would handle them the way they were playing. And I think one of my things that made me go,
Things that make you go,
that there's 2 teams that have now showed a little life, and they are the Jets and the Raiders. The Jets and the Raiders are both sitting at 500, and you're saying, oh,
that's what you need.
That's what you need, because we said in the beginning of the year that final wild card spot in the AFC is going to be a battle between all these teams that are probably lingering a little above 500, and your team needed to win.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Your Raiders needed to win.
There was a couple weeks in a row where it was do or die situation
it's an
for
early
Las
season,
Vegas.
Do or die.
It was.
I know.
And what's crazy about both the Raiders and the Jets, they won those games with their defense.
Oh, and you know what?
And
Hold
that
on.
was my big
Yeah.
Week 6 takeaway. Defense, it seems like the team with the best defense this season might be able to go up against the Dolphins. And then we're going to see a great matchup between a high-powered offense like the Dolphins and then the best defense in the league. Lots of injuries yesterday and lots of good defensive football.
Danny, I'm so torn. Not on what you said. I agree with what you said about the defense.
Like Creed or Natalie Imbruglia.
Oh, Creed, because they're I'm torn like Creed because they're
you're not lying naked on the floor.
They're the rally cry of the Rangers, and they're winning game 2 of
They
the
are.
ALCS. I think the one thing you're seeing, like you said, is great defense, but I hate to give Covino credit because he always talks about like, dude, it's like the fight game matchups, like.
But it's so true.
More so than any other year because you could take a look at the last couple of weeks. You're like, all right, so the Giants, who are god awful, almost beat the Bills. The Giants got crushed by the Dolphins, but the Bills crushed the Dolphins.
Yeah, you can play that game all day.
And
It never makes sense.
It never makes
adds
sense.
up the way it's supposed to.
And it's much like you said, much like the MMA or boxing game. So many times it's matchups. I saw someone hit me up saying, "Don't feel bad." I was unaware that historically, Schwartz has dominated Shanahan. Like his defense, like Shanahan, like it's hard for him to play against a Schwartz defense. So
Speaking of historical stats, this all ties together. My number 3 thing that made me go
Things that make you go,
has to do with what Danny just said. The Jets' defense is sick, right? But you can't win with just defense. So that leads me to the highlights of Aaron Rodgers just throwing on the sideline. It's like, what is going on with this dude? Is he really going to come back way sooner than anyone would have thought? Defy everything that doctors have told us for years. Is he really going to come back? And if they keep winning,
he's been defying doctors for years.
How cool is that? Right? And, historical stats, Rich, it's always crazy when you hear something. You're like, how is that even possible? That's the first Jets win ever over the Eagles. Ever. Like, that's so insane to me. So, again, sick defense, but you can't win with just defense. Aaron Rodgers coming back. Kind of unreal that they beat the Eagles the way they did.